Princess Adventure Stories. Let's see who the last one is. Who's the last princess in the book? Oh. Cinderella, the Great Cat-tastrophe. Cinderella stood in the dining room, carefully arranging fresh flowers. "Beautiful, Cinderella," her mouse friend Jacques said. Cinderella smiled. "I just adore flowers." Then she sighed. "I wish I could go to the flower show tomorrow." Excuse me. Once a year, the king hosted a royal flower show for the village. Many unusual flowers would be on display. But Cinderella's stepmother, Lady Tremaine, never allowed her to go. Just then, Lady Tremaine appeared in the doorway. "Cinderella," Lady Tremaine said sternly, "what did I hear you say?" "Well, Cinderella began. Lady Tremaine held up her hand. Then an odd smile crossed her face. There's something fishy about that smile. "So, you want to go to the Royal Flower Show?" "Well, I see no reason why you can't, as long as you finish all your chores today." "Do you mean it, stepmother?" Cinderella said excitedly. "Oh, thank you." Cinderella still had to scrub the floors, wash the clothes, and dust the furniture. But she was sure she could finish everything before the end of the day. Just then, a fancy carriage pulled up in front of the house. Cinderella's stepsister Drizella shoved her other stepsister, Anastasia, aside so she could be out the door first. "Girls, your manners!" Lady Tremaine cried. Then she turned to Cinderella. "Oh, I forgot to mention that the girls and I are taking Lady DuPont out for the day. Everything must be finished before we return at 5 o'clock. And dinner must be ready too." Before Cinderella could answer, a footman walked up and handed Cinderella 2 fluffy cats. Lady Tremaine smiled. "And you will also be watching Lady DuPont's cats, Precious and Treasure." Cinderella brought the 2 cats to the sitting room. Lucifer, the family cat, followed her. Cinderella gently placed the pets on the sofa. "How much trouble can 2 sweet little kitty cats be?" she said. Then Cinderella went to work. She quickly dusted the furniture and scrubbed the floor. Next, she headed to the kitchen and popped a roast into the oven. While it cooked, she went outside to wash the clothes. "All done," she said as she hung the last piece to dry. "Now I'll just check on the cats." "Precious, Treasure, Lucifer!" "Precious, Treasure, Lucifer!" Cinderella called, opening the sitting room door. "Are you awake?" "Oh, no!" she cried. The sitting room was a disaster. Feathers had been ripped from the pillows, the drapes were tangled, and dusty paw prints covered every inch of the floor Cinderella had just cleaned. "Oh, those cats!" Cinderella sighed as she stuffed the pillows and straightened the drapes. Soon the room looked almost normal, but the footprints were still everywhere. She would never be able to clean them all again in time. "If only I had 4 hands for dusting," Cinderella said. Suddenly, she had an idea. Quick as a wink, She grabbed a needle, some thread, and an old mop. In a flash, Cinderella had sewn tiny mop shoes for the cats to wear. Once she had fitted them over their paws, she found a ball of yarn and tossed it onto the floor. The cats began chasing it around the room. Their shoes dusted the floor and furniture as they went without them even knowing it. In no time, the paw prints were gone. With the cats busy chasing the yarn, Cinderella went to check on dinner. Delicious smells filled the kitchen. The roast and vegetables were almost done. Now all I have to do is keep an eye on the cats until everyone is home, she said, and I'll be able to go to the flower show for sure. When Cinderella returned from the kitchen, she found the cats innocently napping on the windowsill in the warm afternoon sunlight. There you are, she said. The cats looked peaceful enough, but Lucifer was hiding something under his paw. Cinderella took a closer look. It was Jacques' hat. Lucifer, what have you done with Jacques? She demanded. The three cats snickered and glanced out the window. Cinderella gasped. The mice were huddled out on the roof. Oh, you mean things, Cinderella scolded the cats. You chased them out here, didn't you? Oh, those darn cats. Cinderella could see that the mice were too frightened to move. She needed to rescue her friends. After propping the window open, she carefully climbed onto the roof. She held onto a tree branch and made her way toward the mice. This isn't so bad, she said to herself. It's almost like how I used to climb trees when I was a girl. I just won't look down. I'm coming, she told the mice. Don't be scared. She reached out to them. Cinderella to the rescue, squeaked the mice. They sighed in relief once Cinderella had placed them in her apron pocket. But just as Cinderella turned, she heard a loud noise behind her. Snap! The cats had locked the window shut. Ooh, those darn cats! What are we going to do now? Groaned Jacques. Cinderella was stuck, and there were no other windows she could reach, and the roof was too steep to climb down. Bong! The castle clock began to chime. It was 5 o'clock. Lady Tremaine would be home any minute, and dinner was about to burn. Just then, Cinderella noticed the clothesline she had used earlier attached to the windowsill. It stretched all the way to a tall tree in the yard. That gave her an idea. Everybody hold on tight, she said to the mice. She took off her apron and looped it around the clothesline. Next stop, the kitchen. By the time Lady Tremaine, Drizella, and Anastasia, and Lady DuPont arrived, Cinderella was just placing dinner on the table. That looks delicious, Lady DuPont declared, and the house is sparkling. Lady Tremaine, was this the servant you were telling me about? I'd certainly say she earned the right to go to the flower show. Yes, I suppose so, Lady Tremaine said reluctantly. Thank you, dear, for watching Precious and Treasure, Lady DuPont said to Cinderella. I know they can be a handful. Cinderella smiled as Treasure ran past the dining room door, still wearing the little mop slippers. Not at all, Cinderella said. Actually, they lent me a hand. The end. So remember, whenever there's trouble, a friend will lend a little hand. And friends are people that you can really depend on. And this is now the end of Princess Adventure Stories. If you want to hear the whole book, check out my Storytime playlist or my Princess Adventure Stories playlist. And what was your favorite book in the whole entire book? Let me know in the comments below. See you later. Bye.